invariably plangent about windows lit yellow from within and curtains drawn close against the night. From outside, anyway. From the inside, I suppose you'd have to be some sort of soft furnishings enthusiast to get too choked up about it. I'm outside. I'm sitting cross-legged on the lawn. I'm watching the front door and waiting, as a dog does, in a dumb, gormless expectation for it to open. Daphne had a point. I probably am a degenerate. She said I was a sot, too. And, wait, a reprobate? A satyr? An ogre? Yes, I'm sure Daphne had a point. All those university degrees she's got. Who am I to argue? It isn't as though, she said, as she paused, one hand on the door handle and the other gripping me by the scruff of the neck. It's the first time. Quite right, Daphs. It isn't at all as though that. On this occasion, I'd been out for a drink. Though, of course, no one actually means a drink when they say I've been out for a drink, do they? Oh, maybe it definitely does. Maybe everyone does, for all I know. But anyway, I don't just mean a drink. This was the Lord Nelson, a pub of the sort they seem to be trying to phase out. Or rather, they're just letting them die out. They'll let them die out, and then they won't build any more. Anyway, we were in the Lord Nelson. And look, here's the thing. There was this girl. Maybe Daphne won't open the door this time. I might be out here all night. The grass is damp and I'm already quite chilled in the fundament. You're a professor, she said, this girl in the Lord Nelson. She added, wow! Wow. That's actually what she said. I'm 59 years old. I have 2 distinct bald spots. My trousers seem baggy around the knees even when they are freshly laundered. And I believe that at least one of my vital organs is, if not quite entirely jiggered, then certainly well along the road to jiggeration. And this wide-eyed, blue-eyed young thing starts saying wow at me. I say young. It would be ungallant of me to say anything else. She asked me what I was a professor of, and I told her English literature, which is perfectly true. And then I think I asked her who her favourite writer was, and she named some dreadful ham of a romantic poet or something similarly insufferable, and so well, it's all rather a blur. It's all rather indistinct. I believe I started quoting, which is a terrible habit. Waggling my erudition around in public like that. You must be so brainy, the girl said. I remember that. I think that when she said that, she was perched upon my arthritic old knee. I may have, jiggled her a bit, playfully. I don't really recall. The moon tonight is enormous. Oh, I know it isn't really enormous. It's the same size it always and immutably is. It only seems to be enormous because it is low in the sky and therefore compares favourably, size-wise, with the earthly furniture of chimneys and treetops and television aerials. But all that notwithstanding, the moon is enormous tonight. And it's also the same heartbreaking yellow colour as the yellow-lit windows. Shall we get a cab? We'll get a cab. I don't remember just how the conversation went or who exactly said exactly what, but it must have gone something like that because, of course, we ended up in a cab, this girl and I. She kissed me. Do you have any idea what it is like for a man like me, a man with hair in his ears and old man's hands that shake too much for shaving, to be kissed in the back of a taxi cab by a girl, or even a girl who isn't very clever, who might not even be as young as she first appeared, who is certainly wearing too much perfume and may have drunk a little too much white wine? Even a girl like that. Do you have any idea what it's like? Perhaps you do. No matter. In any event, Daphne peered from the bedroom window at something like 11:30 and saw me and the girl dancing a haphazard tango up and down the pavement. The girl was laughing. I was singing. And that just about brings us up to date, I think. Hedgehog. A hedgehog here on the lawn. He pauses in his writing. He looks at me. I return his gaze. It's flinty gaze. We are fellow creatures of the midnight garden. You just can't help yourself, can you? Daphne demands. Well, I don't know about that. It seems to be the done thing these days to say, no, I'm afraid I can't help myself. I can't. Poor me, poor piteous me. But my feeling is that I probably could help myself if I were so inclined. It's just that all too often it transpires that I am not so inclined. Is it my fault that I'm not so inclined? Well, this is a Russian doll of a question. I could wish, I suppose, that Daphne made me happy. She is, after all, not a bad-looking girl. Clever, what's more. She's written books and things, whereas all I've done is read books and things. I could wish that I were inclined to return home to Daphne in the fireside each evening at 6 o'clock. I could wish, why not, to be enthused by soft furnishings. Whether or not I do wish these things is immaterial, for they are simply not so. What was it I was singing out there on the moonlit pavement? Daphne will remember, but it probably isn't the sort of question I ought to be asking her in these uncertain times. Isn't this a lovely day to be caught in the rain? I forget the rest. Not much of a tango number anyway. Don't know what I was thinking. And furthermore, it wasn't even raining. The hedgehog suddenly bolts. Light! Golden light floods the lawn. The door opens. For a second, Daphne is there. I fleetingly see against the yellow hall light the dark, impatient silhouette of her chin, her curled hair, her shoulder, her hand on the door handle. And then she's gone, back inside, back to bed, leaving the door ajar. Painfully, cross my legs. Painfully, I stand up. I don't know if I can help myself or not, but anyway, I look up at the enormous yellow moon, and then at the unbearable, the intolerable yellow light at the windows. I walk to the door. I negotiate the 3 doorsteps with only a slight difficulty. I push open the door and lean with one hand on the door frame and softly call to Daphne upstairs, "I'm sorry." Then I quietly close the door and turn around, back down the 3 doorsteps, back across the lawn, back onto the moonlit pavement. I don't sing, and I don't dance. I just walk. But it's the sort of walking that feels rather like singing and like dancing.